Welcome back to the portfolio, everyone. And today we're going to talk about Moderna, the biotech company that has been working on a vaccine to help cure the pandemic. This company has seen an insane surge in share price over the past 1 month, and over the past year, their share price has grown dramatically. So they are one of the few companies that is working towards creating a vaccine to help end the pandemic. And recently, over the past week, they came out with news that their clinical trials were actually seeing good results and that they may be working towards a way to help save people's lives. So this was great news for the company and overall for society. I hope any company out there in the world right now can come and create a cure or a vaccine as soon as possible in order to save people's lives. But of course, they are a public company, so their share price did see an insane surge when this news came out over the past week and overall over the past month. So today we're going to break down Moderna. It is a growth stock, and we're going to overall determine if it's strong enough to be part of a growth portfolio. Of course, there is a lot of hype surrounding the company right now because if they are able to be the first to come to market with a vaccine, there is a lot of potential for future revenues. But of course, we have to take a look at the company overall and determine if it's strong enough to be in our portfolio. We don't want to buy into the hype in hopes that they are the one to come with the vaccine, because just say they aren't and another company comes out first, their share price may see a little bit of a decline in the short term. So we have to determine if Moderna is a solid company to be in our portfolio overall and if it can see nice long-term growth. So we're going to take a look at what analysts are saying about the company. We're also going to deep dive into the company financials ourselves to make that decision on our own if they have strong enough financials to be part of our portfolio. So as we have to talk about right here, it is a growth play. They do not pay a dividend, so we're looking at share price appreciation in order to see our returns. So before we do a deep dive into Moderna, everyone, I am the Gen Z investor, and every single day on this channel, I come out with different videos that talk about overall stock market performance, any big news in the market, and of course, I talk about different stocks you can buy for your portfolios. So today we're talking about Moderna. You can see here on the 1 month chart, they're up very close to 50%. Insane growth on the 1 month chart. And if we take a look at the 1 year chart, you can see they are up over 575%. 1 year ago, the shares were trading at a mere $14 a share. Meanwhile, strong surge in share price over the past 6 to 12 months and currently trading at just shy of $95 a share at $94.85. If we take a look at the 52-week range, they are trading right at that all-time high range right now and sporting a $36 billion market cap. So of course, I have mentioned that they have been in the news lately. They're coming out with positive results on a vaccine that can help solve the pandemic and of course save a bunch of people's lives. They are still in early testing, but any good news helps surge the share price, and that's what we have been seeing as of late. If we take a look at the 5-day chart, you can see up 51% over the past 5 days. So insane surge since that news came out, and the price has continued to jump each and every day. So for those of you who do not really know what Moderna is or may be new to the company, their ticker symbol is MRNA. If we take a look at the company overview, you can see they are a biotechnology company that develops vaccines based on RNA for treatment of infectious diseases and a bunch of overall diseases that can help save people's lives. In general, they help develop vaccines in order to help people and cure diseases. They have great partnerships, strategic alliances with a bunch of different big names like American Co. and of course a bunch of solid other companies within the space. They have a strong research team that comes from some of the smartest and best doctors of across the world, and they are one of the few companies that is actually working towards developing a vaccine to help solve the pandemic. And if they are the first to do so, of course we'll see huge benefits. But of course, I don't really care if they are the first one. I just want any one of these companies working towards a vaccine to actually come out with one to help save people's lives. I want this pandemic to be over with, and I want everyone to be as safe as possible. So any one of these companies in the growth sector, in the healthcare sector that are working towards a disease, I hope they can come up with one. But Moderna, we're talking about today because they are up in the running and they're one of the top companies that are working towards creating a vaccine. So first thing we're going to take a look at is just a couple different documents that talk about what analysts are predicting with Moderna moving forward. Then we're going to jump into the financial statements of the company to determine if they have the strong financial backing to be part of a nice growth portfolio, and if you don't have to worry about them over the short and long term. Because just say, like I mentioned earlier, if they are not the first one to come out, their shares might see a decline and all the people who are buying to the hype might sell off. So you want to make sure if you are getting into Moderna right now, you believe in the company for a longer period of time, not just for within the next 6 to 12 months. And of course, if you have that long-term perspective right now and you do see a little small dip in the price, you will not be too worried because you came in and you entered your position with that long-term mindset. So first thing we're going to take a look at is how valued the company is. And this is a report from Morningstar. And if you see here, 1 star actually shows significantly overvalued. So if we take a look at this chart, the last close you can see for Moderna was at $94.85, but they are estimating that the fair value of Moderna is actually around $60 per share. So you can see here, they are actually saying Moderna is 58% overvalued. And if you were to purchase right now, you are overvaluing the company by a 58% premium. Of course, this is all relative. If you were to take another analyst estimate who's a little bit more optimistic for the company, they might have a different valuation and may put the fair value closer to $95 a share. But of course, I like Morningstar. I do trust how they do it, and that's what I'm just showing you right now. I'm still up in the air if I were to purchase Moderna, but we have to take a look at the financial statements to determine on our own what we believe the fair value is and what we believe is a solid price to pay for the company. But Morningstar right now shows it is a little bit overrated and significantly overvalued at the current moment by a premium of 58%. This next chart just shows where the price target will be over the next 12 months. The average price target per share is showing at $96 a share. And as we mentioned, Moderna is currently trading at $95 a share. So their average price target from 12 months out is actually at the same price it is right now. The optimistic price target, so if everything goes right for Moderna, is actually at $34. And the pessimistic, the bear price target for Moderna, the low end, is at $68 a share. So although the mean is actually where it is right now, no one knows for sure. These are all analyst estimates, so will be interesting to see what happens, but I like keeping them in mind when we're looking at these numbers. So overall mean shows the price to stay somewhat flat over the next 12 months, but there is an optimistic perspective where it is about a 34% upside in the low side, which shows maybe a 30% decline in share price. If we take a look what analysts are recommending, you can see here, analysts are actually signaling it's a buy right now. Even though some analysts, like on the ones from Morningstar, show the company is actually over its fair value, 14 analysts valued the stock, 10 buys, 3 strong buys, and only 1 hold. So overall, it represents a buy over the 14 analysts. If we take a look at their last couple results, you can see here, the last 4 earnings, 3 were positive, 1 was in line with expectations, and the 3 that were positive actually saw pretty significant surprises where this is better growth than expected of 6.8%, 13.6%, 11.9%, and then this one was in line with expectations and it was only at a 0.8% surprise. So very nice growth. If we take a look at annual revenue, you can see here annual revenue on average is expected to grow. On the low end, it's about to stay the same, and a very optimistic, if they were to be the ones that come up with the vaccine first, shows a very nice optimistic high revenue growth over the next 12 months. Of course, before we take a look at the company fundamentals, we got to see what analysts are expecting it to grow at per year. And with Moderna, they're expecting an insane 74% annual earnings growth over the next 1 to 3 years. And this is based on 11 different analysts. If we take a look at the chart right now, this is Moderna's current position as of March 30th, 2020. The revenue was $52 million US per year, and they actually lost $500 million. So they had a huge net loss over the past year. But as you see how this chart goes, the bottom light blue line here shows earnings. The top blue line shows revenue. So over the next 3 to 4 years, they actually show Moderna growing revenue significantly and actually going profitable over the next couple of years, where 3-4 years down the road, their earnings are very high up to their revenue, and they show around a 20% profit margin in the next 5 years. So of course, we really don't know for sure. We have to actually go 5 years out to see if Moderna and look back and see if they actually reach these price targets and these revenue targets. But it shows decent potential that analysts are predicting that the company is actually going to grow over the next couple of years. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is their actual financial statements. So we jump over, the first one we're going to take a look at is the income statement. So the income statement shows total revenues, expenses, and net income. So what we want to see for a solid growth company is we want to see total revenues growing year over year, followed by a growth in net income. And for some companies who are in the complete growth stage, even if they are losing money, but their earnings are still growing, even they're losing less money each year, that may be a good sign as well. So let's take a look at how Moderna is doing. You can see here, this shows the past 4 years. Top line total revenue. In 2018, they did around $200 million. 2018, they saw a decline to $135 million. 2019, they saw another decline to only $60 million. In the past 12 months, they've only done $52 million in total revenue. That is not what we like to see. For me personally, that already knocks Moderna off the table for me, for my personal investing portfolio. I only like to invest in companies that are actually growing revenue year over year, and Moderna has actually lost revenue each of the past 4 years, which is not a good sign and actually scares me away from the company. If we take a look at net income, you can see here, Moderna has actually lost money each of the past 4 years. They've had a net loss 5 years. 4 years ago at around $255 million, and each and every year they're actually losing more and more money for the company each year. So as revenue is declining, they continue to spend more money, and they're actually posting bigger net losses year over year, which for me, of course, is another red flag, and I will personally not hold Moderna within my portfolio. But of course, that is me trying to avoid the hype. Of course, you have seen people who are buying this company over the past 1 month that saw a 50% upside in share price. Those people, of course, made a lot of money. So in the comments, there may be the odd person that says they have made a killing off Moderna. And of course, if you believe Moderna is the company that is going to be first out with a vaccine, then all these numbers are meaningless because their revenues are sure to grow over the next couple of years. That may put them up in the hot seat, and they may see a complete turnaround if they are first to market. And of course, I personally will not be taking that risk, and I like to be very clear about that. I don't like talking about these companies and not say if I will purchase them or not, because that isn't transparent. I like being as transparent as possible. So for me personally, Moderna won't be in my portfolio, but let's continue the evaluation with the balance sheet and the cash flow statement, just in case other people have different thoughts and different opinions, and they actually believe Moderna will continue to grow and they can bounce back from these little net losses and one day be profitable like the analyst expectations are. If Moderna can turn it around, as you see, this chart shows them. They are here right now. They show them over the next 3 to 5 years, actually growing and earning huge amounts of net income over the next 4 to 5 years. The balance sheet is the next thing we're going to take a look at here. And Moderna actually does have a solid balance sheet. So they have total current assets right now at around $1.25 billion. Meanwhile, their total current liabilities are only at $134 million. So they have a beautiful current ratio that's around 9. So they have way more total current assets than all their total current liabilities. They can pay off all their debt and continue to operate the business very nicely. Their total current liabilities are almost nothing compared to the total current assets they have on hand. And overall assets of over $2 billion and total liabilities of only $426 million. So once again, a total ratio about 4. Way more total assets than total liabilities. Nothing to worry about with regard to their balance sheet right now. It is beautiful to see, and the company is doing a great job with their asset to liability ratio. And of course, we want to see growth in equity for each company. 2015, they had negative equity. Each and every year, you can see a little bit of an upward trend, but overall, they are on an upward trend with equity, which is nice to see. Moving on to the final financial statement is the cash flow statement. So a couple things. You want to see companies that are growing their cash flow from operations and stuff like that. Let's see how Moderna is doing. So the cash flow from operations is losing money each and every year. So they're spending more money to operate than they're actually bringing in. If we take a look at investing, this number is expected to be negative. They are expected to spend money on investing activities, of course, because they are the type of business that is research and development, growing operations. They need to spend money in order to grow the business. So this is nothing too worrying right here. You want to see that they are spending money back into the business. And if we take a look at how they're continuing to operate the business, because they're posting such insane net losses each and every year, and they're actually been losing money over the past 4 years, how are they operating? Well, they're actually using financing activities to operate. So over the past 12 months, they brought in $628 million from financing activities, and $627 million of that came from issuing shares. So they sell more shares to the public to generate cash in order to continue to operate the business, and that's how they're getting the money in order to continue operations while posting net losses each and every year. So overall, that was the analysis on Moderna. We looked at different analyst expectations for the company over the next couple of years, and we talked about why they're in the news. They are the first to market, and they're sharing big news about a vaccine. If they can come out fully with a foolproof vaccine that can actually be mass produced and distributed all around the world, then I'm sure their share price will continue to grow up and skyrocket actually overall. But of course, those are all predictions. No one knows exactly what's going to happen. So we have to just talk about Moderna because they have been in the news a lot lately. I went over the fundamentals. I will personally not be investing in Moderna. I still believe there's a little bit of hype around them right now. Their fundamentals don't back up an investment purchase for me. So that's my personal opinion. Of course, everything I share in here is about my personal opinion. Always do your own research. I'm not a professional, so always speak to a qualified professional. Do your own research before investing. I'm the Gen Z investor, and like I said, every single day I come with videos. So see you in tomorrow's video.